Hey everyone, so we're living in this really wild time where technology is just blurring all the lines, right? Especially when it comes to what it even means to be a creator. And it all kind of boils down to this one huge and, let's be honest, pretty fiery question about AI and who gets the credit. So, let's just put it out there. If an AI writes a whole novel, who's the author? I mean, really, who is it? And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot anymore. This is a real problem that creators are grappling with today. And figuring this out, it really gets to the very heart of what it even means to make something new. And you can totally see why this is so tricky, right? I mean, at first glance, this technology feels like, well, like magic. An AI can spit out paragraphs, stories, entire books that feel so incredibly human. It's really tempting to look at that and think, wow, the AI is a co-creator, or maybe even the creator. But is that really the whole picture? Well, the material we're looking at today offers a really powerful counterargument. It asks us to completely reframe how we think about AI, to stop thinking of it as a thinking mind and start seeing it as an inert object. Just a thing, something with absolutely zero power to act or create all by itself. Now that is a huge shift in how we look at this. Okay, so that leads us right to the core of this whole thing, the human behind the code. Because think about it, if the AI is just an inert object, then where does the story come from? Where does the soul of the work come from? Well, it has to come from the essential ingredients that only a human being can bring to the table. And we're not talking about just simple prompts here. Look at how specific these ingredients are. The author we're talking about, Farouk Ahmed, he basically feeds the AI his entire existence. 30 years of life experience, a deep understanding of human psychology, his personal philosophical views, his political ideas, even his understanding of humanity's worst atrocities. You see, these are not just data points. This is the blood, sweat, and tears of a life actually lived. And this is where it all clicks into place. The author himself says, and I quote, "Without this input, no power on earth can write a novel." Wow. So the human element, it isn't just a suggestion, it's not just a little starting point. It's the absolute non-negotiable requirement. The AI is basically a silent, powerful engine just sitting there until a human comes along and turns the key. So to make this whole relationship crystal clear, our source gives us two really, really powerful analogies. These are perfect for helping us frame the role of AI not as some kind of creative partner, but as a tool. A super sophisticated tool, for sure, but still, just a tool. Okay, the first one is super simple and makes a ton of sense. When a poet writes an incredible, moving poem with a pen, do we say the pen is the author? No, of course not. That would be ridiculous. The pen is just the instrument, right? It's the thing that gets the poet's ideas onto the page. The argument here is that we should see AI in exactly the same way. It's just a very, very advanced pen. And the source just lays it out perfectly. If a poem is written with a pen, the pen does not become the author. It's so simple, and it completely cuts through all the hype and brings us right back to where that creative spark actually comes from. Now, the second analogy is a lot more stark, maybe a little jarring, but it's just as revealing. Think about an atomic bomb. It's the product of massive human intellect, right? An unbelievably powerful object. But on its own, it's just an inert thing. It does nothing until a human being makes a conscious decision to use it. All the power and all the responsibility lies with the human. The parallel here is that an AI model is also a product of human intellect, and its power is only unleashed when a human gives it a command. So, when you put those two analogies together, the pen and the bomb, the conclusion is pretty unmistakable, isn't it? AI, no matter how complex or amazing it seems, is a tool. It's the human who starts the process, the human who guides it, the human who provides all the substance, and because of that, the human is the true and only author. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how does this actually work in practice? Like, what's the actual workflow? How does an author use this powerful tool but still protect their own creative vision and stay in complete control? Well, our source lays out a really clear three-step process. Step 1. The author provides all his core ideas, his philosophy, his life experiences, in his native language, in this case, Bengali. This makes sure the input is as authentic as possible. Step 2. He goes through the AI's output with a fine-tooth comb, verifying that it actually gets the emotional depth and the nuance he was going for. And finally, Step 3. Only when he is 100% satisfied does he give the green light and authorize the final text.
So, what this shows us is that using AI responsibly in a creative project isn't a passive thing. You don't just dump in some data and walk away. It's a constant, active process. It takes guidance, it takes rigorous checking, and it takes a real sense of ethical oversight to make sure the final work is still true to that original human spark.
And really, it all comes down to this. The source puts it so beautifully. Authorship isn't about which fingers typed the words. It's about whose brains, sweat, and life's experience gave birth to the words. I mean, that's it, right there. That is what makes a true creator. And that really leaves us all with a big, crucial question to think about. Because these tools, they're only going to get smarter, they're only going to get more woven into our lives. So the challenge for all of us is, as they evolve, how are we going to define and value and protect the very things that make our creativity uniquely human?